An investigation is underway after two JetBlue planes bumped into one another at New York's JFK airport yesterday. This comes after a recent close call at the same airport when two planes almost collided on the runway. Joining us now for more on this is CBS News transportation safety analyst and former NTSB chairman, Robert Sumwalt. Robert, good morning. Good to see you.
Glad and good to see you. Thank you very much.
So I guess the first thing we should say is that to a large extent, travel in the United States is fairly safe. It is safe. But what kinds of checks and balances are in place to prevent potential collisions and what could be sometimes the result of human error?
Well, I'd like to start with the very first premise that you had. Air travel by commercial airlines in the United States is statistically extremely safe. Each year, we have about 700 million passengers fly on U.S. airlines, and the last fatality that we had was in 2018. And so one fatality is one too many, but there is an exceptional safety record in the United States. Now, with respect to the layers of defense, I think it's important first, let's separate all of these events. The JetBlue incident was basically a fender bender where one airplane is pushing back off of a gate, being pushed by a tug, and it bumps into another airplane. Mm-hmm. What we had last Friday night at Kennedy was a more serious event, but there are checks and balances to keep those sorts of things from being catastrophic.
And I think, you could argue that with the other incidents, sort of with the two planes on the runway, I mean, the checks and balances worked. Like there wasn't a collision, there wasn't an accident, and so it worked. That being said, it is a little unnerving to have these two incidents happen in the space of a week. How rare is it, and what kind of review does the NTSB and the FAA conduct during these kinds of incidents?
Well, as you pointed out, Anne Marie, these really are two completely separate events and completely unrelated, with the exception of there's human error involved in each of them, the JetBlue incident and the near miss on the runways last Friday night. So there are checks and balances. And as I mentioned, the FAA and the NTSB will be conducting an investigation of certainly the runway collision. I doubt seriously that the FAA will even get involved in the fender bender involving two JetBlue airplanes. But nevertheless, there will be a review, a very thorough review, whether it's by the companies involved or by the federal officials.
So I guess if you're in a plane, and you made the point, and we should keep reinforcing it, that travel in the United States is extremely safe. But what do you think happened when those planes crossed on the runway? You had a plane that was taking off, and you had a plane that crossed the runway. And I got to say, when you listen,
they didn't actually cross.
Right,
but they almost did.
Did. But what I also thought was really fascinating is when you think of the professionalism of pilots, how the pilot sounded very cool when the air traffic controller said, whatever he said to him, and the pilot was just like, okay, rejecting.
Right.
And I just thought to myself, that's the kind of pilot I want flying my plane, right? Just cool in the face of potential danger. But what do you think happened there?
Well, it boiled down to a basic lack of communications or a misunderstanding of an air traffic control clearance or instructions. Apparently, the American Airlines was supposed to make a right turn onto an adjoining taxiway, but unfortunately, they continued across the runway. Why that happened will be the crux of an investigation. It possibly could have been a distraction in the cockpit of that American Airlines flight, or it could have been a misunderstanding as to what the air traffic control instructions actually were.
All right. Thank you, Robert, very much.
Thanks so much. Good to see you.